and welcome to the Holistic Living, Learning, and Loving podcast, where we are bringing you back to the basics.
We explore sustainable living and holistic health and strive for progress, not perfection.
So please join us on a wellness journey and feel empowered to make positive changes in your life. Hey guys, glad you are joining us today. As usual, we talked too much and had to split up our episodes, so today is the continuation of the one from last week. We hope you enjoy. I'm bad too about so much stuff is I buy stuff on Amazon and I buy clothes on there and I'll just buy extra sizes, extra colors, and all this stuff, knowing in my head that I can return it because I'm the return queen. I've gotten it from my grandmother. And I will return anything. And that's horrible because I just learned that those returns are sometimes not even being reused. They just so I saw a statistic that in 2021, $761 billion in merchandise was returned, and about a third of that goes right into the landfill or gets incinerated.
Wow. I always wondered what they do with all of that. I just assumed it went to places like Ross and Michael's that sell discounted things. But think about how much stuff gets returned.
It's crazy. And I'm so good, especially now that they made it so easy. Like Amazon, you can just bring it to Whole Foods and they'll put it all in a box and ship it off for you, or UPS or whatever. And that's probably some of the worst ones to send it off to. But, maybe if you return something to your local store, they'll probably reuse it, hopefully. But
I need to get better about returning. If I buy something, I end up getting stuck with it. We have hundreds of dollars worth of foam flooring underlayment that I bought. It was a lot of money. We realized we didn't need it because we had flooring that already had it attached underneath. So instead of returning it like I should have, I didn't because I just didn't feel like it. All I had to do was bring it to Lowe's right down the road. And now I'm stuck with this crap and nobody wants to buy it. I never return.
You have to be diligent if you're going to be the return queen. You have to actually go and make the returns.
Yeah.
I get stuck with stuff occasionally. I'm like, I forgot to return it. And I try to sell stuff on Facebook Marketplace, but I just never have luck, and it's a pain. And people just ask you a million times, do you have this item or whatever? And you're just just buy it.
Yeah. That underlayment. Can't sell that stuff to save my life.
I know. I never and then I'm I get freaked out about is someone going to come to my house and be a murderer or something for me trying to sell this $10 BS, So I don't know. Maybe I need to have a yard sale one day. I don't know. It's so hard. We have so much stuff, and so another problem is people buying and living in huge houses. You don't need a house that's so big. And I'm guilty of this too. I have a pretty big house, and whenever we moved, I thought, we don't have that much stuff. It filled up two of the biggest U-Haul trucks, and we still didn't have enough room to bring the rest of my plants and had to leave them. It's crazy.
Yeah, each time we've moved a lot the past few years, and each time we move, we have more and more stuff. But sometimes, you have a big house, but sometimes we have to get into these situations to realize that we don't need it. I dreamed of having a big, nice house my whole life. I didn't dream about my wedding like other girls or anything. I was drawing floor plans. Remember that? Remember you said you wanted a house with glass floors?
Yeah. I was obsessed with the idea of having 2 stories and the top story being glass. And
I was Heather, what about if you wear dresses?
That was my vision.
Yeah. So I always wanted a house. And now that I have a house that I have this huge, super nice house or anything, but it's a canvas because it got hit by the storm and we got a bunch of money to fix it. And I was able to really do what I wanted with it, make it nice. And now that I have it, I'm just I don't even want this anymore. This is too much to manage. It's just a lot of work, and I just want simplicity. I want to be able to go play with my kids. I'm tired of cleaning this house all the damn day. Yeah, or having to work on it, or it's not what's
stressful.
Important. Yeah,
I know, ours too. There's stuff the people we bought it from didn't do the painting right on all the trim, and they had oil-based paint and they painted latex over it, and now all that stuff and all the doorways and the doors are all peeling off. And
Oh,
it's like so annoying. And it's like, but to do that work, I mean, that's like sanding and priming with oil base and then painting again. It's like, dude, I don't want to do all that stuff, man.
I know.
And I don't want to pay for it either.
Right.
Because
Same. I know.
painters are
Like,
cheap. Painters, no, painters are not cheap. There's no
yeah.
such thing as a cheap, good painter.
Yeah. No.
Let it be known.
Yeah. So it's like we really just have to change our mindsets of what we really want in life, you know?
Yeah, and it's so crazy that people have these huge houses and then still have storage units. Like I
Yeah.
have never understood a storage unit. Like I get it on like temporary basis, like when you're moving, you're trying to sell a house and you need to put some stuff away cuz like buyers don't want to come in your house with all your junk in it, you know? But like for people to just like have stuff in storage for years and years, it's like it boggles my mind.
Yeah.
Like if you don't need to see your stuff on a daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, ever basis, then you don't need it.
That's exactly what I was just telling my kids this week. I told them, look, if you can get rid of enough stuff, we'll do a little yard sale and y'all can keep the money from the stuff your stuff that you sell. So I was like trying to incentivize them to get rid of some stuff. And I was like, look, if y'all like, I want you to go grab each toy or each thing in your room and ask yourself, when's the last time you played with that? And if that was like months ago, then you don't even need that toy. You don't even enjoy that toy that much or whatever the item is, and it needs to go, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I just feel like my house is becoming so cluttered. And when I look around, it's just like stuff we never touch. Like, why is it
Yeah.
here? It stresses me out.
Yeah. I mean,
I hate
like with
clutter.
I know. And like, you know, there's this thing like, okay, I want to have a nice house. I want to have stuff like I want to have
Yeah.
nice like visually nice stuff like a vase on a table or a plant like you know like BS just stuff like design stuff look cute or nice
Yes.
curtains or whatever. It's like but then it's like do I really like I know it's like I want to have the cute house and it's not
But think of,
necessarily
yes. And what's that for? To
well, I
impress
don't
other
think it's
people.
for other people though. It's just like
I do. For
I want
me,
to enjoy it.
you'd want to enjoy it, but if you think about it, if it wasn't for the other people's opinions about it, you'd never want
Yeah,
that.
I
That's
guess
what,
you're right.
and I'm not saying just you, it's all of us. We all do that. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? If nobody ever gave a shit about those nice things, we wouldn't want them.
Hmm.
You know,
I
that's what
struggle
makes us
because
want them.
like my in-law, like my brother and sister-in-laws are coming over and I have this like guest room and we've always, you know, we have queen sheets. They're, you know, usable sheets. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just kind of like a brown beigey color. And like I went to TJ Maxx, which TJ Maxx is like the like I swear it's like something about it like makes you spend more money like because there's so many different things, you know. I guess it's like
Yeah.
something's like addictive about TJ Maxx. But anyway, I went and I saw these cute little sheets with like little fruits on them and they were pink and like maximalist and I was like oh my god I like love these and like they were like $20, okay. But then I was like Heather, you don't need these sheets. You know, you have sheets at home, they work, there's nothing wrong with them. They're a little ugly color but they're fine. And but man, it's been a struggle. I've been thinking about it for a week now, like whether I'm going to get those damn sheets.
I
And I
can
guess it
relate.
is because I'm just trying to impress my in-laws. Like, oh, look at this cute room I made for you, you know,
I know.
when they're going to be here for like 2 days, 3 days, and
And then
they're
when
not
they
going to
leave,
be
you're gonna
like,
feel all guilty that you bought all that stuff.
yeah,
Because I've done, I know because I do that too. Like
I know. It's hard because
it
like,
sucks how much we care about what people think, you know? Because
mm-hmm,
like uh, in so many aspects of my life, I could honestly say I don't. But then when you really dig deep, you
yeah.
do.
Like just now you with me, I was like, no, it's not because I care. And it's like, no, actually, I guess it is.
Yeah, I know, man. It really controls our life a lot about our lives.
But like a couple things that I did because I did want to make it somewhat cute because I wasn't gonna get the damn sheets. Okay, I'm not getting the sheets. I'm not getting the sheets, Heather. It's not gonna happen. Don't go to the store. But I like had this artwork in there and I like didn't like it and it was also like just not our style anymore. It was very like dark and like I don't know, it was like a saxophone, like some band stuff and like a New Orleans kind of like musicy canvas. And I got the girls like neon acrylic paints out, and I like went over it with the neon acrylic paints and like kind of like vamped it up and made it look cute, like the style I was going for. So I felt good about that. And then I also had some old IKEA like white curtains, and I needed curtains for that room, and I needed to buy them, but I hated everything and they're too expensive. And so I got these old ones, which were white, but they were kind of like yellowed because they're so old and sitting in storage forever. And I dyed them with like the RIT like fabric dye, and I dyed
How'd
them
that come
like the
out?
crazy yellow color. It's interesting. It's a vibe.
Yeah, that's
I mean,
awesome.
there's nothing
I want
bad
to
about
see.
it. It's just like they're just very yellow because there
I
was
thought you
also
were.
no colors to choose from at the
Oh, okay. I
store.
thought you were gonna go for that.
A green.
Yeah, like a
Yeah, they didn't
peacock.
have that. I went to Walmart. They said it had it in stock, but when I got there, all they had was like gray, red, like a dark blue, and yellow. And I just thought, like, because I was going for this like cute, like pink kind of like neon vibe, that maybe the yellow would work.
Yeah. Well, that painting definitely came out great. So,
I know. And I think maybe the curtains are cute-ish.
but
They're
hey,
interesting.
I'm proud of you for trying to make do with what you had, especially since they're
Yes.
only coming for 2 days, you know? So we can still do things to try to liven up our homes and feel better. And, you know, because I guess it makes you feel more comfortable to know that people aren't judging you because I mean, yeah, we do care a little bit, you know what I mean? We just can't
Yeah.
help it. So that is a very good thing that you could do to liven it up for cheaper and not
Yeah.
buy new things.
I know. So, and like I had that stuff in storage, and like I'm so guilty about it too. Like we have a garage and we have an attic, and some people have all that stuff and they still like go out and get storage units. It's crazy to have that much stuff. I mean, like we just have too much stuff, but also it's like bad because it's like holiday stuff, like holiday decorations.
Yeah.
Like I'll just go crazy on that stuff, man.
Man, I didn't for the longest time because I didn't want to spend the money on it. But then I started to feel guilty because my kids were like, Mom, we don't have all that stuff. Like, well, I want to decorate. And I was like, oh man, like ruining the holidays for my kids. They're not going to have all these great memories. And I started thinking about like my mom really decorated a lot for Christmas and everything. And I loved it. And oh, so I started trying to spend money. I didn't go all out because I just can't. Like, that stuff's expensive. But
Yeah.
like a lot of people gave me stuff, but now my house is all cluttered up with that, and I hate it. I hate it. Ugh.
You got to get a storage unit. Apparently, storage units occupy there's 1.9 billion square feet of storage space.
Yeah, and
Um,
taking up more space in our world. That's all
one
we
in
need
five
to hold our
Americans have
junk.
one, and they pay an average of $121 a month for their storage.
You said 1 in 5 Americans?
1 in 5 Americans have a
Wow,
storage unit and pay $121 a month.
that's
That's like a huge
crazy.
$121 a month is a lot of money to pay for something that you don't need.
Yeah, yeah, stuff that you don't need it so much that it can sit in that storage unit, and you probably
It's
never
crazy. I mean, how
open
much
it.
is that? That's like, I mean, because if I said, well, no, let's see. Well, it's not horrible. It's like $1,500 a year, but it's
For
not
some
great.
people, like that's a lot
Yeah,
though.
that for some people it's
That
a
would be a
lot, and
lot for me, for
yeah.
sure.
So like a lot of people are just like buying stuff to fill a void. Whenever you get to that place and you can feel yourself like wanting stuff and like it's filling some kind of void and you deserve it and that mentality. Like something that needs to be done is like you need to get a hobby.
Get it together.
Is you have to be introspective and see it and realize that you're doing it and try to find something that actually will bring you happiness.
Yes.
Some sort of hobby, like I don't know, like a couple years ago you could have asked me like what I was into, and the only thing I could come up with was like reading. Like I couldn't come up with anything that I was into that
It
I
was
wanted to
what?
do. Reading. I just
Oh,
like to read
reading.
books.
Yeah.
And now, man, like if you ask me that, I'm like, oh, well, how long do you have? Let me talk to you about the ideas of gardening and podcasting and like all these things that I'm into. It's like I could just go on a tangent any given day on another path.
Seriously though, like there's so much. first of all, we have so much information at our fingertips for free. Like there's so many things you can just get into for not a lot of money, and that really do bring happiness. Like
Yeah,
for
I
us
love it.
gardening and everything, I mean, obviously there's money involved, but like it's, you know what I'm saying? It's not like going buy things. This is actually meaningful, and it's providing something valuable to our lives,
Yeah, like
you
I'm
know?
into all kind of stuff, crocheting and all this stuff. So you need to
It
find
needs to,
something that you can be fulfilled from.
yeah, add value to your life.
So when we buy so much stuff, like we said before, it actually releases dopamine in our brains. Like it really does like feel good to do
Yeah.
it. So that's hard, but it's not sustainable to get your dopamine from buying stuff. It's bad
No.
for you, for your family, your financial means. Like between you and your partner, like a lot of like most people, like couples get divorced over like financial reasons. And like it's like the number one thing that people like fight about.
Yeah. It really is just like a drug. I mean, if you think doing drugs are bad, then spending your money to feel happy is it's the same thing. It's just like gambling. Is they
Yes. Oh my
gamble
God,
because it gives them
gambling.
a dopamine rush. It gives them a, makes them physically feel happy or emotionally happy, whatever. It There's so many things to be addicted to that are
Mm-hmm.
just like meaningless actions that are
Filler.
not providing any value to our lives and just taking from us.
Yep. Yep. I mean, look, it's freaking hard to be an adult. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing easy about dealing with generational traumas and like childhood traumas and adulthood traumas and just like navigating through everything that we've had to grow past in our lives.
Yeah.
And like I can see why. I mean, I get addicted to stuff too. But we just have to be able to sit down and look really deep inside and say like I want to be happy, like the right way.
And be able to
And
admit it, we have
yes.
to admit that it's an issue to fix it.
And it takes time to fix it. And it like dude, like so we're talking about kids and stuff like that and toys, man. And like my kids have so much stuff and like we
Yeah.
never wanted to like get to this place where we have too much stuff for our kids and they're just like entitled and all this stuff, but we have too much stuff, too many little things. And I'm cleaning up yesterday and thinking in my head, I'm wasting time doing this when I could be actually playing with them or something. And I told them that because I want them to start cleaning up their stuff. Well, I cleaned up. A couple hours go by. I go back in there when they were playing nicely, and literally all the stuff that I cleaned up and organized and stuff was like every surface of the floor was covered in it.
Yeah.
And I was cool at first. And I was like, girls, you gotta pick it up. But then, of course, they're like not going to. They're like hemming and hawing and like pretending like they're doing stuff. And I just like, I blew up yesterday. I was like, pick it up now.
Yeah.
And then I like got a big I was like, that's it. We're getting rid of this stuff. And I got a big Tupperware and I just like throwing stuff. I'm like, I like completely lost my mind and like reflecting back, like, because of stuff,
Yeah, like
you
it really
know?
does cause so much turmoil in our homes. And I mean, think about it. We don't want to pick it up. Our kids don't want to pick it up. They don't even play with it. They don't know what to do with it. So they grab it and they throw it on the floor. My kids are older. They still do this.
Yeah.
Like it overwhelms them. It overwhelms us. Like I don't even know why we're doing this to ourselves. It's like, you know why? It's because we go to the store and even our kids are like, oh, I need this, and we like need that dopamine rush.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's no different for them. Like none of us are going to use it. We have to pay attention to if we're actually going to continue to use that item. If it's like toys for the kids, you need to. After a while, you start to learn your kids. You know what kind of toys they continue to play with for long
Yeah.
periods of time. Like I can tell you if my kid is going to play with this toy, still be playing with this toy by next year or not. And if it's not one of those toys, or at least 6 months, if it's not one of those toys, don't buy it. And honestly, if we could just start like, it would be best if each kid just had 5 toys. That's all they really need. Probably, maybe not even that. If you think about it, it's probably all your kids play with out of all of their toys. You know, you could probably pick 5 things. I mean, yeah, don't count the stuff they take out for a second and throw on the floor. They're not playing with that.
Yeah,
You
you're
know,
right.
they have their favorites, and that's the
Mm-hmm.
stuff you want to focus on. They might tinker with something, but it's good to just focus on their favorites, and that they won't be so overwhelmed, you know,
It's overwhelming, man.
by
It's
all
like,
the options. They don't know what to do with all that.
no,
We don't know what to do with all the crap we have. Why would
no, I
they?
have so much junk and I'm just like trying to make more room for an ice cream maker.
Yeah. It's like, it's so crazy.
But yeah, so it's like like all this stuff like is just like creates conflict, in your personal lives, even with your kids, cleaning up this stuff, wasting your time cleaning it up, like when you could be doing something better with your kids than clean up big messes. um so it's
Yeah.
just it's hard, man.
Like, that's all moms talk about. Like, how do you get your house clean? I don't have time. I don't have time. And it's like, well, if we didn't have all this stuff, we wouldn't have to clean so much, you know? If we didn't have these big ass houses, we wouldn't have to spend all day cleaning them, you know? It's just
Yeah,
something to think about.
absolutely. So we kind of went all over the place. Like looking at our script, it's like, oh, we got to talk about this. Well, we just kind of talked about that. So, I mean, like you said, like buying stuff that's quality, like toys or clothes or like kitchenware or whatever, stuff that's going to last, stuff that you're going
Beauty
to continue to
routine.
use. Like if I buy the damn ice cream machine, am I going to continue to make ice cream? I mean, all signs point to yes. I don't know. No, maybe not. I mean, I bought a juicer like last year and I was big into juicing for like a minute and I bought this expensive juicer on Facebook Marketplace, but still. And now I don't even agree with juicing anymore. So it's just
Yeah.
like, I need to get rid of the juicer.
Mm-hmm. And then,
Just
like, a
more
lot of
stuff.
women are always buying like a ton of makeup, a ton of
Oh, God.
beauty products. Like, now all I have is shampoo, conditioner, and soap in my bathroom,
Yeah.
and that's all. The soap I use for my body, I also use to clean my face. And, like, you know, I have my toothpaste, like just your main things. Like, I feel like a lot of women go really overboard. We don't need all this. You don't need all that stuff. I know. I guess I'm a very basic bitch. I don't do all that stuff. I know a lot of
Yeah.
women
Like
will
all the
swear that,
creams and
yeah, your
there's so many
skincare
like
routine and all that.
serums
I
and
mean,
it's
I don't.
so expensive.
Yeah, I feel like that's just like they're
It's
being
marketing.
sold. Yeah,
Yes. Yes,
yeah.
and like even little kids are getting on it. Like they're saying little girls
Oh,
now when they're
yes.
so young, like want to do it too because they see mommy doing it and they want to emulate mommy. So it's like
Yeah.
kids are getting started on it super young too. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, my girls are obsessed with like bath bombs and like soaps and stuff like that. Like every time I go to the store, they want to get that stuff. Um, well, I mean, it's easier for me because I'm like, it has bad chemicals.
Yeah, I know. Me too. I say the same thing.
They're
And I
obsessed with
don't.
bad chemicals now. They're like, "Mommy, does it have bad chemicals?" And then I hear them playing in their room and I hear them saying bad chemicals and bad ingredients. And I'm like, oh my God, it's funny.
That's funny.
No, so I mean, it's like, we have to lead by example too, because like again, we talked about like generational traumas and all that stuff, and we are teaching our children things, and we're teaching them not by telling them stuff, we're teaching them by showing them. Like the other
And
day
that
when
is
I
the,
had my yesterday when I had my rage, like I told
yeah.
them after, like mommy was wrong, like I was not nice to you guys. Like, I shouldn't have done that. I should have handled my anger better, like all that stuff. And it's like the same thing replies here is like, you have to show them that we don't buy stuff every time I go to the store. Like, you buy things that you need and you stick to it. And you don't just like, oh, yeah, sure, you can have that because it's only $3 or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that stuff is trash and you don't need it and they don't need it. And we have to like get out of this mentality that we just need stuff all the time.
Yeah. And they definitely learn from our actions more than our words. 100%.
Oh,
So
absolutely,
we definitely
dude.
need to lead by example. And, you know, if we start to make these changes or at least talk about it in front of our children now, hopefully their generation can be better, you know,
Yes.
than we are. Because although it's very hard for us, maybe it'll be easier for them if this is the way we were teaching them and raising them up from the beginning.
Yeah, and like another crazy thing is like people buying stuff that don't have money, but then also like charging on credit cards that have like 20 and 30% interest rates,
Yeah.
and keeping these cards like maxed out over time. And, like that's just like such a burden. It's such like, it's just doesn't make sense financially to do that. And like my take is I'm all for credit cards. Like I get points, we get travel points, whatever. We use that. I will use a credit card before debit card any day of the week. But I only put on my credit card what I can afford to pay. Like I'm not going
Right.
to max out my credit cards.
Right. Yeah. So funny, like fun example. We have a Best Buy card, and we don't like we do like you. We have our Apple card, and we make all of our purchases on that, and then Nick will pay it off at the end of the week. But we did make a purchase for a laptop with our Best Buy card, and and like a few other things. The balance was like a little of like $3,000, I think, and we just paid it off, and we knew we were going to pay it off, but the minimum payment was like $45 or something like that, and it said that um like it would have allowed us to pay on that for like 13 years, or
Mm-hmm.
no, it was like a long period of time, and we would have ended up paying back like $13,000 if we would have continued to pay that minimum payment for all those years. I mean, obviously it's just like crazy, like some people do that, you
Yeah, there's a
know,
lot of people that do that.
paying $13,000 back on a $3,000 amount. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, credit card credit card devil.
That's what they are. Sometimes, at least, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so one thing, like what, again, like what can we do to break free of this stuff? And like one thing that I saw, like when I was looking online at ways, better ways to do things, is ask your neighbors if you could borrow stuff. Like I actually like was gonna ask a couple like neighbors that might have an ice cream maker, like, hey, do you have one? Maybe I can just borrow it, and I can see, they probably don't even use it. That's the thing about these things. See if I
Yeah.
even really, really want to do this. Like, I might do it one time and be like, this is not for me.
Yeah.
And so, like, I'll ask a couple people and see if they have it. And that's like a great thing if you like need something. Like, if you, like, when I needed, um, that, oh God, what's it called? That tiller thing that I got, oh God, I can't think of what it's called. Um, but I like asked, I wanted to see if someone had one first. And
The
I
broad
offered, like, my
fork.
neighbor was doing some stuff, and I was like, hey, I know exactly what you need. Let me bring it over, the broad fork.
Yeah.
And so it's like you can be good neighbors.
Yeah. And
And
especially if it's something that you're not going to use often, then it makes more sense to just borrow it as long as your neighbors are cool with that, or
yeah,
like
and
you
as long
said,
as
just to
you're a
give it
good
a
steward
try. Make sure
too,
it's some,
like,
yeah, just
yeah,
make sure it's something that you like before you buy.
yeah. And so I think that's a cool, and like, oh, like the old school thing, like my friend down the street, like I'll need like something random, like, oh, I ran out of ketchup, or not ketchup, but whatever. And like, so we'll be like, oh, I have a bottle, you can have it, or whatever. One time she needed salad dressing and she had just ran out, or whatever, like little things that you have in your kitchen, like to just like be cool with a couple people or whatever in your neighborhood that you kind of have that camaraderie with, that you can kind of help each other out. Like, hey, I'm
Yeah,
going to the store. Do you need anything? Kind of thing.
definitely.
Do you need me to buy more stuff for you?
Right.
Oh man, the big thing this Christmas, I was really struggling with this, is like trying to craft things for people instead of buy gifts. And that ended up being very stressful.
Honestly, this is going to be a very unpopular opinion. I'm not into gift giving at all.
Yeah.
Like Nick and I don't do it for like Mother's Day, Father's Day, birthdays. We don't do that cuz like when we need or want something, we buy it
Yeah.
all year long. And I know that's not fun. People like they want to feel special and they want to get gifts, and like I get it, but like that puts so much stress and burden on a lot of people,
Yeah.
whether you're making it or you're buying it. That's just I hate that. I don't think that that's a good thing.
Yeah, and it's like it's stressful because like also whenever like we're grown ass adults, we just buy the stuff that we want from Amazon and have it delivered, and then we take it back if we don't want it. I'm just joking. We buy all our this crap anyway. So it's like for the other spouse to try to figure out what the hell they should buy you as a
Yeah.
gift. And then it's like, like let down if it's something you didn't want, or they feel bad because they feel like you didn't want. I mean, it's just like
Yeah, it's
all
like we
this.
were like constantly setting ourselves up for like disappointment. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like why? It's just stupid. So like what I did is I like told, like, for instance, my sister-in-law, brother-in-law, nephew, like I was, God, here we go with the likes. I'm sure I've been doing it the whole time, but now I just zoned back into the fact that I was supposed to not do that. Um, I said, let's just not do gifts. The kids do not need anything. Please do not buy them any more junk. We're gonna get together in a couple months. Let's do something. Let's spend time together, go out to dinner, have a crawfish boil. Let's do it in a different way, an experience together, and not just buy me some junk that I don't need.
Yeah.
So
We just did a party for pedal, and they like, I told everybody, just it was just like she just wanted her friends over, and I told her, I was like, look, pedal, I'm telling everybody that we to not bring gifts, that we just want them to come over and hang out. And she's like, okay. And that's what, nobody brought gifts, and she was perfectly fine.
yeah. And I'll tell people too, like if they feel like they really want something to get the girls, I'm like, do a craft with them. Come bring a couple
Yes.
pieces of paper, get a box of crayons or something cool or whatever, and just come spend the time with them. They don't need stuff. They just want your time.
Yes, and that's really what kids want, whether they know they want that or not. But and even that, or I lied. One person at that party asked what they could get her. So I told her, this is another homeschool mom, and I was like, well, what if you just give her a book that, because she has a daughter that's close to Petal's age. I was like, why don't you just give her one of your books that y'all read already and you don't want anymore? And that's what
Mm-hmm.
she did. So now Petal has another book that she can read for school, and they didn't have to buy it, you know?
Yeah, like
So,
regifting, it could be
yes.
a good thing. Like what you're done with might be something like if my neighbor maybe has an ice cream machine.
Hint, hint.
I think regifting is totally fine. And, I tried to get creative for Christmas and like crafting stuff. And that was kind of mostly a fail. I think I probably sent out some like pretty awful tasting cookies to our relatives, but the girls helped. So it's okay. But that can be stressful too. So it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's good to just like set expectations. Like before Christmas, I sat down with my sister in law and I was like, listen, like, we just don't need anything. And we just got on the same page about it. So it's like, it's reciprocal. I'm not going to give you anything and you don't give me anything.
Yes.
And we're on the same page and we're both in agreement. And so that's would be an adult's like. You don't have to do these things because it's some sort of weird norm that we've been doing forever.
Yes,
And I really
exactly.
think Mike and I need to talk about that too because, we do this too. We don't need to be getting each other Christmas gifts and all this junk. And we need to like stop doing that, you know, this
Yeah.
year and not focus on
And most of the time we're just
buying
led to
junk.
buy stuff for people that they don't need, because we don't know what to
Yeah.
buy them.
And
And
then like, oh, well, I guess it's not a need, but for the girl's birthday that my parents-in-law wanted to know what they could get us. So it's like, get us something we need. Like the girls needed a bike.
yeah.
I mean, they don't need a bike, but we were getting them bikes and
Yeah.
they were expensive. And it's like, just go in with us on this because it's something that, we're going to get anyway. So you don't need to get different stuff. Let's just go in together.
Yes. I'm all down for that. Like, if people are going to give you gifts, get them to give you something that you were needing, that you were going to buy anyway, for
Yeah.
sure.
So another big one that I'm so guilty of is like wasting food. I like a lot of food goes to waste in my refrigerator and it makes me feel really bad and I hate it.
That's something I've got, I don't struggle with anymore. I can't look, I spend so much money on food, and I spend so much time preparing it. I live in my kitchen. I'm always making food, that I won't waste a crumb of it. If my kids
Yeah.
don't eat everything on their plate, I'll go eat it. Like like I'm extreme with it. But I don't know why we're wasting food. Like, okay, sorry. So many times people are like, "Oh, like how do you cook?" Like, I don't have time to cook all the time, but why can't we just twice a week, maybe 3 times a week, cook a big meal, eat on it for a day or two, and then freeze the rest in individual portions. And then on the nights you don't want to cook, you just heat those. Then first of all, you're going to have all kind of options of food. So if each person in your family wants to eat something different, they can, because you have it frozen in individual portions, and you don't have to cook. And that's how it's like a bank of food. So it's so easy to not waste food. Heather. No, I'm just kidding. I felt like I was attacking you.
That was funny. Oh my God. I know so I try not to. And like the biggest thing that can be so wasteful is bananas. Like my kids are obsessed with eating bananas, but yet not the whole thing. Like there's always a bit of banana left over in the banana skin that I find around that, like in the kitchen. And so, and then also like they only like them when they're a certain way. And once they get like brown spots on it, they don't want any more. I have like a freezer full of bananas and I need to do something. Maybe I need to make some banana ice cream.
I think all the signs are pointing to you needing that ice cream maker. It's a sign.
It's like it's so hard, but yeah, I just like put them in the freezer and then I freeze them, and now I have too many and I have to do something with them. It's a problem. Like I'm gonna have to like slowly start getting food out of there, just like this mass accumulation of bananas.
You could also make some cookies with them.
I know, and like banana bread, I just need to do it.
Or you could just compost them. You can compost them.
No, I'm not going to waste. I mean, they're still good. I'm not going to do that.
But at least they'd be going to the soil that you're going to use. Huh?
No, but I have a lot of bananas already going in the compost. I mean, the amount of bananas these kids eat is like insane. They're like, it's crazy. So yeah, but I still, waste. And, there's a lot of cool things you can do too. Like I've seen, like, when you chop in your vegetables, you can actually like save the tops and like the skins of the onion and like the pieces that you wouldn't like necessarily cook with. And you can save those like in a Ziploc bag or whatever in your freezer over time, and then make like a vegetable broth out of it and stuff.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
I've seen people do that. I don't do it, but I have seen other people do that. Obviously like we compost with our scraps. And you can do stuff with like eggshells too in your garden. I believe you could save them and then put them in the oven and bake them for a while. And then you can like get the calcium out of it and the water solution out. There's some
vinegar.
Stuff, but
you can just put them with vinegar and it'll pull the calcium out. And then you can dilute, put like like 3 tablespoons to a gallon of water or something like that. We just did it in the garden. So yeah, there's a lot of ways to reuse food for sure.
Yeah. Or just, eat them like Rachel said. So at the occasional time it happens, but I don't typically like use grocery store bags. I have like a ton of like reusable grocery store bags that I've accumulated. And unless I'm like out shopping when I don't have one, I typically never use a grocery store bag.
I don't either, but sometimes I do forget and I'm like, dang it. Now I have to
I know. I'll be like, I'll just carry it.
I know. Sometimes I do that and I'm like, oh God, everybody's staring at me like, why would she do that? Or I feel like they think I'm stealing.
Yeah, I've brought like my bag in there and not gotten a cart because I've only needed a couple of things. I'm just shopping, like, put this in my bag.
I've done that too. Yeah.
Just shoplifting over here, just reliving my old Sears thongs childhood past.
Oh my God. That is too funny.
And then I know we've talked about it before about like we don't use paper towels. We use like cheap, like white kitchen, like towels or whatever, washcloths in our kitchen.
Yeah.
And then I stopped using toilet paper. I love it. We bought some wipes on Amazon and I couldn't be happier about it.
I want to make that change too.
It's such like a crazy thing because like I can't leave the toilet paper on the roll and have the wipes because I will always go to the roll. Like it does not matter. I will do it every single time because it's just like we're so conditioned. So I have to like keep the roll like behind the toilet so that I don't grab it. But
Yeah,
I
I
love
mean,
it. I think it's great.
you've only been doing it your whole life, you know.
Yeah.
It's a hard habit to break.
So, we talked about like glass, like not Tupperwares, but maybe Anchor Hawking or oh, what's the other brand of glass? Pyrex.
Pyrex, yeah. Or even
Like
like
food containers.
the glass
Oh
jars that your food
yeah.
come in. Like my peanut butter comes in a glass jar, not just other things. You can save those to store food in, you know, instead if
Yes,
you don't want to
dude.
spend a lot of money.
And especially too, what I do, well, it kind of takes up a lot of room in the freezer, but I will store stuff in the freezer in those like for instance, the spaghetti sauce that I get comes in like a literal mason jar. And so I always save those and I'll put like my frozen stuff in there for my like portioned out meals like later when
Yeah,
I do it.
that works perfectly.
Yeah, so but then there comes a point where you have too much of that too, you know.
I
You
mean,
can't
I
just
don't
like
know.
accumulate glassware forever.
Oh yeah, I had to get rid of some because they were just taking up a whole cabinet. Yeah, I thought you meant like food and the individual portions. I was like, I don't ever get too stocked up on that. We wipe that out all the time. But yeah, I've just gotten rid of a lot of those because we
Yeah,
weren't
there can be
using
too
them.
much. Like sometimes, some clothes get to the point where like you can't like I don't know, maybe I shouldn't care about like holy box like when my husband has like a hole in his boxers or whatever, like do you get rid of them? Do you stick it out? I just like when I see that I'm like, all right, it's time. Or, like and not even just to like if I have it in my panties, the girls' panties, or whatever. I mean, they get holes in them. And I feel bad because like it doesn't really matter, right? Like if you have a hole in your underwear, like no one's like judging. I mean, again, like no one's judging you, and who cares? But no, I mean it's like so what I'll do and like also like white shirts because like I also don't wear deodorant, so my
Oh,
shirts, especially white ones, don't hold up forever. So I'll just like cut them and make them into like like either reusable, like kind of dirty cloth or just like a one-time use, like like
yeah,
if I clean our outside furniture and it's like all disgusting with pollen all over it, like I might not even want to like wash that in my washing machine after that, so I'll just use
same. I do
that.
the same exact thing. Like I'll use like old clothes that I'm throwing out that are like just dingy, like for like one time use things, like maybe to clean up some vomit or something that I just, you know, or
Yeah.
but or like old socks. I'll cut because they're stretchy. I'll cut them and they're already in the circle shape. Oh well, no, it doesn't matter that they're in the circle shape because I end up cutting them. But anyway, I cut them into strips to tie my plants to poles in the garden
Hmm.
and stuff because you don't want to like use like tie straps or anything that's gonna like cut into your plants. So like
Oh.
socks work really well, and it's just a good use for old socks that you
Oh,
don't have
that's a good
matches for and
idea.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. So another idea I had is like my idea with like my artwork that I didn't like. I kind of like repurposed it, kind of painted over it with some other colors. So, and I kind of got that idea from like the Instagram, like during Halloween, they had like people would, oh God, here we go with like again. People would have we're getting those like, damn it.
Damn it, Heather.
uh get like this old painting and draw like a ghost on it or whatever, make it look like spooky. So I thought that was
Yeah.
cute. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
love that
so
idea.
I thought it was cute and my curtains are decent. So it's like, I mean, I wasn't gonna use the curtains anyway. And like they're yellow, just like the shirts. Like you don't even bother donating that because no one wants that. Like no one wants
Yeah.
your actual garbage.
Yeah. I know. There's like so much stuff that I can't donate because it's just like it's no
It's
good.
too
But
gone.
another idea for art is like I hang up my kids' art. Like I buy frames and I frame it and I'll hang it up. Like I mean, like some of it looks pretty cool enough to put on the wall for me
Yeah, I
anyway.
think
It's
so.
just it's a cool thing, you know, display your kids' art, you
Hmm.
know,
I like
in a
that.
nice little frame.
I like that a lot. All right, guys. So we've talked a lot about consumerism. I'm gonna go out and buy my ice cream maker. I hope that this like really sparked some introspection into your life and maybe make you think a little bit harder next time you jump on Amazon. I know that I'm really trying to make myself think that way,
Yes.
and for the environment, for my own sanity, for my financial situation, all that stuff, it's good. So I hope everybody gets something out of this. As always, we I've really enjoyed my time this afternoon.
Yeah, me too.
So I'm happy that we did this. And if you enjoyed our podcast, please subscribe, please share with a friend, get the word out. We really believe in our message and hope that people listen and take one thing out of it would be so fabulous. So
Yes, and please comment and let us know what you think.
yeah, comment. Let's start a dialogue. Ask us questions if you want to know something specific, or if you have a cool idea that would
Yes.
benefit other people. Like, let's get a discussion going on Facebook or comment on our YouTube channel. We're very responsive.
Yep.
So we appreciate everyone, and we are excited to do the next one. So please tune in next Friday and for our newly released podcast. And
Bye, guys.